Election Committee in Palm Beach County, we would like to welcome all of you tonight, for a brief interview with Supervisor of Election Wendy Sartory for Palm Beach County. So I would like to start by Wendy asking you, tell us a little bit about yourself. How do you get here to Palm Beach? Because Palm Beach has been kind of a notice in the news for different reasons in the past. And those are things that we're looking forward to be different in these coming elections. So Wendy, please.
Okay, thank you. It's so great to be here with you. And I am actually born and raised in Palm Beach County. So this is home for a long time. I did went to school in North Carolina, lived in Los Angeles, California for a while, and then moved back home where I worked for a law firm and then had my own law firm. We had about 24 people in our firm for about 21 years, and then decided to go out on my own. And one day received a call asking if I would be interested in being considered to be the supervisor of elections. So it came out of the blue, but I did ultimately decide that I'd like to do that. Had an interview with the governor, and here I am. So I've been here since January of 2019, and we've made a lot of changes since then. So I'm excited to talk to you about them, and we're moving forward. As you said, Palm Beach County will soon be known as one of the best places for elections in the state. So
awesome. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And welcome to Palm Beach County again. One of the questions that we have is when we look at the voting dates, what important days should voters be aware for the August election? What are the important days in August?
So right, thank you. That August 18th is election day for our primary. We will start early voting though August 3rd. So August 3rd through August 16th is our early voting times. And that'll be from 10 a.m. until 7 p.m. If you are looking to do vote by mail, then we need you to do that by August 8th at 5:00 p.m. So those are some really key dates for people to be remembering coming up to this primary.
Excellent. And when you look in previous years, this is a little outside of that previous year, the early voting in previous year, was that something that attracted a lot of voters, or was something that went along with the rest?
Early voting, I think, has been popular. Certainly in general elections, even more so than in primary elections. But it is, during some of our larger presidential elections, particularly, early voting has been very, very popular, and it's growing in popularity. So we have actually, to keep up with that demand, we have been increasing the number of early voting locations we have as well. So we now have the most we've ever had in Palm Beach County.
How many early voting locations will you have open, on the dates and the times?
Right. So we are going to have 18 early voting locations open. So we added 3 new ones when we were going into our March primary, and now we've kept those 3 new ones and added 2 more new ones. And that'll be from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Again, and it starts on Monday, August 3rd, and goes through Sunday, August 16th.
So in general, when you seen a shortage, or you seen what is really needed for regardless of polling locations?
So we're really lucky with our polling locations on election day. It's we have been able to keep most of them, and those that we weren't able to keep, many of them we've been able to just find new ones for. So we are going to have 427 distinct polling locations for election day. In March, we had 435 locations. So we have almost as many. Those voters who have been moved to different locations are going to be receiving voting cards soon to let them know of their new polling location.
Awesome, that's really good news. And now in those polling locations, do you have bilingual poll workers at the polls?
We do. We have, wherever we have a high percentage of self-identified Hispanic voters, then we try to have a bilingual poll worker at that location all the time. And we are always in need of more bilingual poll workers. Actually, we're in need of all poll workers. So if anybody is interested in being a poll worker, we really want them to consider applying at our website, which is pbcelections.org. But we always need bilingual poll workers. But even if it's this area that doesn't have a bilingual poll worker, we have a translation service that we have that will translate to over 200 languages as well. So we always have availability for people, but we do try to have bilingual poll workers in most of our sites, and certainly in ones that have a high Hispanic population.
Will also that apply to the Creole speakers?
Right, we do have some Creole speakers, and we do try to get Creole, again, we do try to get people who can speak those in that area. But again, we will always have, whether we're able to have a Creole speaker in that location or not, we will always have the availability for every location to have the translation service that can be called and they can translate for them.
You know, and what kind of safety measures have you put in place at the polling locations?
Right, so with COVID, we are doing a lot. We have a lot of good safety precautions. So we'll start in the morning that your poll workers will have their temperatures taken with disposable thermometers, and they're going to fill out a healthcare questionnaire related to COVID to make sure that they are able to work that entire day there. So once that's happened, the poll workers will all be wearing masks. They'll also be given a facial shield to use. We have put plexiglass dividers in between the poll workers and the voters so that they have, it's good for both of them to have that protection. We have hand sanitizing wipes or hand sanitizer gel available at every location. Poll workers will have many sets of gloves. If a voter requests to have a glove as well because they don't want to touch any of the equipment, then they can also provide a glove as well as a mask to the poll worker. We have social distancing tape, and we have that in both English and Spanish, telling the voters where to stand the 6 feet apart. Our secrecy sleeves that we have laminated them so that if they do have to be reused, they can be wiped down with a disinfecting wipe. We will wipe down the polling booths after every voter. We'll go through and wipe it down to keep it safe and clean for the next voter to come. And the pens that people will be using, we're going to give the voter a pen. They can bring their own if they'd like, but once we give them a pen, they can use it and then they can keep it so that we're not going to be reusing pens. So we're trying to do a lot of different things to make people feel safe when they go there, because we want everybody to know that, we've also given them their sample ballots in advance so that they can take a look at that, know who they want to vote for, so that when they get into the polls, they're ready to go and they can get in and out, get out quickly.
What about the lines outside? In previous years, I've been in Palm Beach County for the last 30 years. So I've seen the lines outside of the polling places, and it's basically shoving ones against the other. So how is that going to be controlled according to the CDC guidelines and available now?
Right, so we will also have the tape not only inside the polling location, but for that first 150 feet that we're able to control, whether it's 150 feet or just from the door to the end of that polling site, we will have, again, in English and in Spanish, we'll have tape that's set out that's every 6 feet. The poll workers, when they get there in the morning, will set out that tape, letting everybody know how to stand so that we can continue to keep that spacing. We do have a deputy that stands outside with the the voters, to help keep that order in the line as well.
Excellent, thank you. How can voters vote without having to go to the polls?
So yes, that's a very good question, because we do have people who say, even with all those things that you've done, I'm not feeling very comfortable, or I want to make sure that I'm not going to get sick. And so we suggest vote by mail. Vote by mail is something that is every eligible voter in Palm Beach County is also eligible to vote by mail. You do not have to have an excuse. It's not absentee voting as you might see in other states where you have to be unavailable on that day. In Palm Beach, in Florida, so obviously in Palm Beach County, that any voter who wants to vote by mail can vote by mail. They just have to make a request to us. As I mentioned before, that has to be in by August 8th at 5 p.m. They can request a vote by mail. We'll mail it right out to their home. It's postage prepaid, so it's very easy for them to research their candidates at their leisure, choose who they want to vote for, then seal it back up, drop it in the mail, postage prepaid. But they can also, if they're not comfortable with that, they can also bring it to one of our 4 office locations, or during the early voting period, that August 3rd through August 16th, they can drop it by any one of those 18 sites, and they can just take it directly. They don't have to stand in line. They can take it directly to the drop box, and they'll be able to drop their vote by mail ballot off in an early voting site.
Is that voting by mail considered to be safe? Because if you hear, when some comments even coming from the White House, it says that voting by mail is a no, it's no good, etc. So how is it to make people comfortable really dropping that in the mail?
Right. So when we talk to representatives from President Trump's team, as well as from the Republican Party, our understanding is that the concerns that the president have really don't relate to Florida so much. And it's because of the way our system works. We do not do all vote by mail. It's not an automatic thing that everybody gets. So in Florida, some of the safety precautions that are built in include you have to make a request first. So you have to have requested us to send you a vote by mail. So when we get your vote by mail back, it comes with a specific barcode on the outside of the envelope, not on your ballot, but on the outside of the envelope. It tells us that who this came from. So we know that it came from someone who specifically requested that vote by mail. We then check your signature, because on the outside of the envelope, there is a place that you have to sign. It's very important. It's got a big red box around it that tells you to sign here. So you have to sign that. We then take that signature, compare it to the signature we have on file for that voter. And we do that for every single envelope that we receive. And so we're checking that signature. If that signature does not match, then we will send the voter a letter that says, your signature doesn't match, and we need you to contact us to cure it. Because maybe your signature's changed, maybe things are, you've matured, you've gotten old, you broke your arm, maybe, we have some voters who will say, I now have Parkinson's, and so my signature looks different. So you can update your signature. Pardon?
I'm sorry? No, go ahead. Go ahead. That was
okay. So we'll be able to update, people can update their signatures and show that. So we are checking every vote by mail ballot against the signature to assure that A, that person did in fact request a vote by mail, and B, that their signatures match. And then if they don't, like I said, we give them the opportunity to cure. So with those protections in place, I believe that many people are much more comfortable with the Florida system than they are with others. Florida also, because we've been doing it for so long, we have built-in protections that for getting things done and for getting them counted on time that a lot of other states don't have. So for example, we can start counting 22 days in advance. And so we can begin that opening process. We've already done our logic and accuracy test last Friday. We started opening ballots in front of the canvassing board members on Monday. We opened more today. We'll open Thursday. We'll open Friday. And that's all done in the public. So again, public's able to watch that. And we are able to keep on top of it so that you don't have a backup. We'll be able to keep those ballots going and be on top of the processing all the way through to the end.
Excellent. And how can a voter request a vote by mail ballot?
So they can do it a lot of different ways. The easiest way for the voter, and what we encourage voters to do, is to go to our website. So if they go to pbcelections.org, right in the front homepage, there's a button that says request your vote by mail. But they can also go to the vote by mail page and do it there. So it will take less than 2 minutes for them to do that vote by mail request. So it's very fast. But if the voter doesn't have access to a computer, they can call our office, they can send us an email. So there's lots of ways, or we also did send out a flyer to every voter who didn't have vote by mail that had a tear off that the voter could send into and send us a written request. So lots of ways to request vote by mail. The key thing is you just have to do it by August the 8th.
Awesome. And I believe our friend Jose, you available? Yes, he had a question for you. Could you please, Jose? Unmute yourself, please. Unmute yourself.
Yes. Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Hi, Jose.
Okay. Hi there. We would like to ask you, have you seen an increase in voter registration compared to the last election cycle?
We have seen an increase. We definitely have more voter registrations. In fact, I can tell you, we have over currently active registrations, 993,076 as of today. So we definitely are seeing an increase in registrations. I wouldn't say that the increase is as high as it has been, leading up to other elections, because with COVID, there aren't people out and about. So we're not out doing voter registration drives as much in the public. The third-party organizations that we work with, again, they're not out in the public doing as many. We're doing some, a lot of Zoom calls, a lot of things to encourage people to register to vote. We've also done some interesting things where we're trying to reach different demographics of people and different folks. So we have Ariana Grande has, for example, put something on her Instagram and on her social media, letting people know about very important dates when you have to register by, encouraging people to get their vote by mail ballots in. So we're working with different folks. We've also had Mr. and Mrs. Jack Nicklaus. We've had Anquan Bolden, Dwight Stevenson, both who are native to Palm Beach County football players. So we're really trying to reach out to different people that have a different social media or a different outreach than we do, just to encourage people to please, that we want everybody to get out and register and get out and vote.
Is she a resident, Ariana Grande, a resident of Palm Beach County?
She is not a current resident, but she did grow up here. So she is a Palm Beach County native.
Okay, good to know. Well, that's good for you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That was a great information. I think it's about encouraging voters to really, to come out. That's one of the big issues. It doesn't really matter if they are Hispanic, non-Hispanic, if they are Creole side or English only. No, it's about getting people out to vote. And when you look at the statistics, it's something that we have to check every time to encourage and try to get people out to vote and exercise their right, which is the right thing to do, on that side.
Absolutely. And I think, our website, people can go to our website. They can do the translation into Spanish. So we have a lot of information there. Even, as they're deciding to go to vote, if they want to do early voting, our new equipment and all the new registration, it'll allow you to go and check the wait time. So if you want to know, I don't want to wait in line as long, you can look and see how long the wait time is on election day. You can also track how many people have voted at each location or divide it by party. So there are a lot of ways, divided by precinct, a lot of information that's out there that we want to encourage everybody to be looking at to get more involved, so that they are going to be more interested to get out to vote as well.
Excellent. We would like to, on behalf of the Hispanic Political Action Committee, would like to say thank you for your time. We would like to really stay in contact with you. So
Love that.
we'd like to say thank you. Jose, thank you for being with us tonight. Santos, you can go ahead.